Hello friends, welcome back to Spectral Tarot. I know I have been away for a while from doing actual content online. I actually had a personal loss in my life back in August, so kind of went through a huge transformation in just like my physical, emotional, spiritual, mental health, all across the board. But yeah, I'm kind of coming out of that transition right now. I'm having a lot of downloads come through. So I want to get back into it with you guys. I know a lot has been going on. Things are tense. Things are weird. Yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, so I'm still offering personal readings. So if you do want to book with me, I'm still doing the email pre-recorded tarot readings and then also the video Zoom tarot readings. So you can book with me. You can just email spectraltarot@gmail.com and we can get that going. So yeah, this is the 2022 download. So I pulled these cards at the beginning of the year, and it's taken me this long to really kind of process the whole download. And I posted on Instagram the other day just about the masculine energy and how this reading is going to be really for masculine collective. Now, that does not mean this reading is only for men. This masculine energy lives within all of us. And there's something happening here with the way our masculine energy is being mirrored back to us within our physical world. So through our environment, through our friends, through our family, through our partners, our jobs, where we live, all that kind of stuff. So we will be getting into it today. Yeah, all right. So I will start with the 10 of Wands here. With that energy, I've been having this download, something's coming out. It's like that song, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Like, it's just been going on and on in my head. So I feel like there's a few things happening here. We have things coming out of our bodies. We see the physical representation of what is happening energetically underneath the surface. A lot of us are having acne, rashes, like sebum coming out of our pores, snot, everything, diarrhea, like all across the board. Everything is kind of like coming out of our bodies, working its way up to the surface from deep down. This 10 of Wands is telling me that this is something that's been trying to come out for a long time. For the masculine collective, this is also talking about communication. This is something that you have been trying to kind of like wrap your head around, get kind of control of. But you see how all those matches have been burned and there's just this little hole in the paper. It's almost like you've been trying to burn this document for so long. This might be a contract. As soon as I said document, I like got given a file folder. So usually when they do that, it is some type of contract that you are trying to burn up. So this might be, your previous karmic cycle that you're trying to get off of. Whatever this is, it's trying to come to the surface. And it's not this like fantastic feeling. I'm just going to be honest. This Son of Swords card, this is the Knight of Swords. This is the fastest acting card in the tarot deck. This storm is coming to the surface. And specifically with the masculine collective, I feel like, even for me, my masculine energy has been working so hard to try and just get to the next step, but I'm being so like micromanagey about it. And I'm just looking at everything externally. I'm like, okay, well, if I clean my house, I'll feel more control. If I do all these things, like I'll feel more control in my life. But all this energy kind of like seeping outwards has made me go internally and check my masculine energy and be like, why do I feel like this is so hard? Why do I feel so burnt out from trying to do just the most basic mundane things? And I feel like that's a question you guys might be asking yourself as well. Now, this Son of Swords, this is bringing emotion and truth together for you to be able to move forward to the next step. This is the water element and the air element. And what I got from Spirit was precise awareness fueled by pure emotion. So whatever this is coming to the surface, again, unsaid words, thoughts and feelings that have been repressed or suppressed for a long time. And specifically with the masculine collective, we have been taught to bury those feelings, right? Like to the men in our lives, showing emotion when you were younger, like, no, crying's for girls, right? Like there was all these gender stereotypes that made it very hard for men to express their emotions. And this is kind of coming up for that collective at this time. And again, it's something from deep within. The Wheel of Fortune card coming out is a sign that the wheel is moving. This energy is shifting. And I feel like you can feel the energy shifting, but there's still this like pull backwards. It's almost like you feel that resistance, but you feel like it's coming from something external. But it's internally. See this kind of like, it's like shrubs at the bottom, shrubs, but like leaves and vines, and they're kind of climbing over the wheel to try and stop it from moving. And there's those two like white eyes in those vines. That is your shadow self. That is, it's you. It's me. Like it's us stopping ourselves from moving to the next cycle. And again, because we keep on grabbing for all these external things to try and move on from this contract. We're like, okay, let's try another match. Let's try another match. The Spirit's like, no, sometimes you literally just have to go from within. With this farm energy, this is someone being stuck at the same place for a long time. This is talking about you living somebody else's life. Whether this is someone around you or this is a past version of yourself that you haven't been able to forgive and let go of. So you're living your past self's life, but you're feeling the energy of your new karmic cycle. And this is just creating this kind of stuck energy, this closed loop. I'm seeing like a closed feedback system where you just keep on going in circles. And interesting with the wheel too. It's almost like you have to cut back all that shadow energy to be able to get the wheel to move. And that's not saying to kind of like shun your shadow, especially with the Son of Swords energy, like that water and air elements, emotion and truth. Precise awareness fueled by pure emotion. Precise awareness. So this is like, you can't ignore that anymore. You have to go dive in deep and check your shadow, because your shadow is trying to tell you something. So many times we like exclude our shadow. We shun our shadow sides because we're like, you know what? Someone told me that was bad. Someone told me not to share that part of myself because that won't be accepted by anybody. I won't be loved if I share that part of myself or if I explore that part of myself. That's what we tell ourselves when we exclude our shadow. But this is talking about a lot of us going down into the dark night of the soul. That cleaning out all that gunk from your basement, cleaning it all out and seeing, you know, where your actual motivations lie, where your intentions lie. There's a lot happening right now. And I feel this very overwhelming kind of like fear of success, but also feeling like inadequacy. This is coming up. And this might be coming up too with the 10 of Wands. Just trying so hard, burning, what did they say? Burning the wick at both ends. I've had some spirits come through and tell me that, like my own loved ones being like, quit doing that. Because that's what my masculine energy tried to do to keep control of the situation. But it didn't work. I literally just became this 10 of Wands energy, this exhausted burden on myself. And then I realized I can't grab another match. Like I'm not supposed to light this contract on fire. I'm not supposed to be at this farm anymore. I'm trying to find my way home. But the way home isn't somewhere out there in the world. The way home is internally, in your own ocean of emotion. And I feel like our masculine selves have been very cut off from that ocean of emotion energy. They'll take from it. They'll kind of like see how that storm, it's the hurricane, right? Like it brings that water energy up into the air element. So it's bringing emotion up into your mental state to be able to process it. But I feel like this up and down, up and down, up and down is what makes it so exhausting, which is why you have to just dive in. You have to get into the shrub with your little machete and chop it all up and see what's underneath. There's a lot of meditations that kind of use the imagery of a garden. So you like go down these little steps into your garden, and you can explore the garden and see what your garden is mirroring back to you. And there's something in there. And maybe try this meditation. You can look at some up on YouTube if you want, but just see what's in that garden. And I feel like you're going to be surprised what you find. Truly. And I feel this shift so quickly. And this last card, it's one of my favorites in this deck. I have the Wayhome Tarot, and this is the oracle deck that goes with it almost. They're made by the same person. But it says, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. It's like this little treasure map. Finding your way home. But it's like home in your soul. And this has been coming to a fucking, sorry, excuse my language, but it's been coming to a peak for like, I'm getting these 10s. It's like 10 years. This has been like a decade long situation. For some of you guys, it's 10 months. They're just like, there's some people it's like a shorter amount of time, but for some of us, we've been in this energy for like a decade. And your body can feel it. There's something here, like your hands are on your sword. So you're ready in defense. You're in survival mode. And a lot of us have been since this pandemic started. But even before then, I feel like a lot of us came into the pandemic already in survival mode. And that kind of like confused us a bit too. We're like, okay, like this doesn't feel very different than how it felt before. And that is that survival mode. But I feel like you're coming out of this energy. You're figuring it out. And something is happening collectively too with this Wheel of Fortune card. Sorry, there's a cat here. With this Wheel of Fortune card, we have all those constellations in the sky too. So there's something happening astrologically right now that is helping us move forward. I read the other day that this is the first time, and I don't know how long, that every single planet has gone direct. We have all the planets facing forward, moving forward. I'm getting goosebumps. So we can finally get out of that like retrograde energy. Not just Mercury retrograde, like we've been in some long ass years long retrogrades. But now all the planets are aligned to move forward. We can finally get that wheel moving. And I feel like some of you guys have been like stuck at the top of this Ferris wheel, kind of like seeing everything that's going on, but not feeling it. But some of you guys have been stuck in this kind of like vine thicket energy, looking at the Ferris wheel, being like, I want to get on that wheel. Like, I want to go. So there's like a few different collective energies coming up in this reading, but I feel like all of them are kind of coming to the same conclusion that this energy, this exhausted, burdened energy has to go. Take time for yourself, especially the men who are watching this. Like the masculines, if you are always go, 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 how can I get to the next step? Spirit's like, whoa, you're not even like, you're at the farm. You got to find your home. And some of you guys, yeah, this is like an imposter syndrome kind of situation. It's almost like you feel like if you stop trying to achieve everything all the time, if you stop reaching, yearning for that next step and just sit where you are and understand that like this farm energy, the farm energy is when you get stuck. You're visiting the farm. You don't stay at the farm forever. It's almost like your car broke down on the side of the road and you're like, okay. Or maybe, you know, like you're stuck in this thicket and you see like a little cabin in the woods. You're like, okay, like I can stay at this farm. But you gotta go eventually. You have to find your home, even though this farm might be filled with loving home energy, because it's waiting for you. And I'm seeing this like the X marks the spot. There's something about the mountains. I don't know what the hell. There's something. Some of you guys are kind of like at this place here with the mountains, and it's almost like you're coming through the valley in between those two mountains, those two peaks. I'm just gonna pull a card for that. I don't really understand that energy. Spirit, what's with the two mountains? What is this? Okay, well, we have the Six of Wands and the Four of Swords. So I feel like this valley is walking through the valley in the shadow of death. What is that? Walking through the valley in the shadow of death. But this is the Success card. I'm gonna have to write that down. I don't even know what that means. The Four of Swords, this is that rest energy. This is letting yourself receive, letting yourself just be instead of grasping for the future, for the past. This is about the present energy. But this Six of Wands is very much, I'm just hearing moving forward. So there's something going on here about getting back on that horse. And moving forward. Some of you are going to be entering relationships very soon, like partnerships, some romantic relationships and I feel like you've been single for a long time. And it's this success energy. It's almost like your soul's been waiting for everything to kind of balance out. I'm here feeling this like kind of, what is that? Equilibrium type energy, almost like the scales of justice, right? Like they have to balance out the masculine, the feminine, the dark, the light. And now you can feel your soul being like, okay, it's time to move forward, but your external world does not support that or does not reflect that back to you. So now it's about kind of like sitting, meditating, really putting your intention into the universe about what you want as you move forward. And I'm not talking about external things like, yeah, your house, like your job, put all that stuff, but also don't forget about the internal things and it's not just, I want to be happy. Like you can't be content all the time. Like I want peace. I want abundance. I want abundance of love. There's so much other stuff that we can manifest that will help manifest physical things like new job, money, all that kind of stuff. It all starts internally. And I feel like once, that equilibrium, balancing out energy, that temperance, it's like tempering chocolate. Once that temperance energy comes to the surface from the inside, comes all up in our acne and rashes, like periods too. I feel like everyone's been having fucked up periods. And we're just like, what the hell? It's because everything is literally coming out. Everything comes out in the wash. And then once that happens, we start at 1, right? Like 10 is the last number, and then we start back at 1. So this is truly the start of a new cycle. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I don't really know. Like this is a very confusing energy to be in because it's almost like a contradiction. Like your intuition is telling you something completely different from what you are seeing in the external world. And you're like, what? I have to trust this intuition? Like, and sometimes we think it's just a dream or we think it's just us being silly, but no, like you got to trust yourself. And once that comes to the surface, you will see the environment around you starting to change and shift. And I feel like this change is going to be big and it's going to rattle a lot of us at the beginning. But like I said, once we get back on the horse, it's like if you haven't ridden a horse in a long time and you get on a horse and the next day, like you are sore as hell, right? But it gets easier and easier and easier as you go, as you learn, as you grow. So it's just about getting back on that horse. But when you're standing there looking at it and you've been thrown off that damn horse before, you're like, I don't want to get back on that. Never. But something inside of you is telling you to get back on that horse, and to understand that the horse that you are now getting onto is different from the last horse you got on. Okay. I think that's all from this download. Again, let me know if you would like to book a personal reading. I am going to be trying to come out with a lot more content, as I have a lot backlogged. And I have like I text myself, another reader mentioned it once, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I started texting myself all these downloads. So I have a lot backlogged that I want to get to you guys. Again, yes, thank you for letting me read for you. It's always a pleasure. Love you guys. Stay safe. Take care out there, and we will talk soon. All right, bye guys.